Hi, this is Sharon with Positively Provost, and I own It's Time Promotions. Today we get to meet with Vickie Newmeyer. Vickie, I had met for the first time about 3 months ago now, maybe, and she did a presentation for Positively Provost, and I absolutely fell in love with you, Vickie. Vickie is with, I don't know what your role is with Community Futures. I can just say with, you can explain that in a minute. So Community Futures Meridian from Kindersley, Saskatchewan. And Vickie, I know you have a wide area, and I would kind of spew off what I wrote down, but I'll let you describe that if that's okay. So Vickie, I'm going to let you describe to everybody what you do and what area you all cover.
I sure will, Sharon. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to Positively Provost. I can't tell you how inspired I am by the good work you do, and I'm hopeful that many other communities will look at your model and just repeat, because it's such an important time. And you guys were well into the groove well before COVID-19. So good on you guys, and thank you so much for having me. I'm the CEO of Community Futures Meridian region, and we cover the province uniquely. We're a little bit like Lloydminster. We cross the boundaries. We cover East Central Alberta, which is part of your community, and West Central Saskatchewan. So our program is basically, we're not-for-profit, but we're funded partially from Western Economic Diversification. And we have a loan pool, and we support small businesses. So the whole idea for us is, and I think the easiest way to break us down, is we do loans, advice, and support for small businesses within the boundaries of East Central Alberta and West Central Saskatchewan. So that's us in a nutshell, and everything in between.
So, you know, Vickie, and just even speaking with you before this interview, I was dumbfounded because I didn't know all this. So one thing that really, the loans, of course, I think we'll touch on that in a second, but just the advice that you can give to people. So you told me you do not have to be a client of yours, you do not have to pay you, but you can help them, and you have a lending ear for them, and you will even help them go through financials. Can you go over that a little bit for everybody, because I think that's huge.
I think the most critical part to any small business, Sharon, as you know, is getting people prepared and going through their operations and where they're at even now. So we do startups, of course, but we also do existing businesses. So the whole thing is that advice, the center point is advice, and to try to keep people focused on their direction in terms of their business planning and looking at all of the tools that help them be successful businesses. So we look at their financial statements. They can come in, well, pardon me, they can't come in now, but virtually they can come in, and we can set up things, and we can look through their financial statements, look at where we might see some flaws, where we can give them some direction. And all of this is done with no judgment. There's not a judgment on whether you've made a mistake, how far you're behind on something. Those things, that's water under the bridge. You can't change that. But what we can do is try to help the small business owner look at opportunities for correction and strategically laying out direction for them. So it's so critical and important for us, especially during this time, to get them where they need to go. So all of those kinds of advice services, it may just be on a marketing plan that they're not sure where to go. So can we look at helping them with the marketing strategy? Can we help at looking at the employee situation, or even things like mental health? And we know that certainly our business community is struggling with some pretty major decisions over this whole silly, crazy thing that's going on in our world right now. But we can't fix that. But what we can do is try to bring a sense of calm and some strategic direction to where they go next. So that whole advice piece is critical for small businesses. We do have a coach assigned as well, and that's free. So that coach and our team can help direct that person and prod them a little bit to say, okay, you promised last week you're going to get this done. How are you doing on that? You know, because some of us as small business owners right now, we've got a lot of irons in the fire and a lot of worry and a lot of stress. So our goal is to try to minimize that as much as we can and give them sort of the to-do lists and get them moving in the right direction here.
I think that's huge, Vickie. Like these, as an entrepreneur, and when we discussed that, like I'm not used, today's day one that I'm at home, and I'm already going a little bit stir crazy. I've been to the fridge 5 times. So I just don't like these people that are at home. They're stressed financially. They're stressed because their kids are underneath their feet. They feel guilty if they don't know how to help the kids properly. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on. And I think there's going to be some issues with that. So if Community Futures can help with their financials, because they can't even, we have a hard time thinking right now. It's like so crazy and it's so mixed up in our heads right now. And we're so worried, not worried about our business. We're worried about our employees. We're worried about everything, right? So if you guys can help go through financials, see where you can maybe cut some costs. Like I know I went through all our financials and went through and see what we can eliminate out of everything out of ours. But some people are overwhelmed, right? So just even having that support system to get them to that, and you know, just to, like you say, keep them on point, and obligated to do that before they talk with you again is huge, Vickie. That's absolutely huge.
Yeah. And I think that this is the part of our culture of Alberta and Saskatchewan particularly, is that we want to help each other. Part of the problem with us as entrepreneurs is that's what we got into entrepreneurship for, is we were solving problems, right? We have the answers to this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think we have to now count on each other. We have to count on each other to help, and that's what Meridian can do. And if we don't have the answers, this is the other beautiful part. If we don't have all the answers, we have a whole team of resources behind us. So I'm not going to suggest that we're going to have all the answers. I don't know every program that's available right now to help support small business, because many of them are like a rolling ball right now.
Every day.
So that's another thing, right?
Yeah.
But we do have a whole pile of people and resources behind us. So it will be our goal to try to get the answers that our business community needs. So I think, Sharon, we first have to forgive ourselves. And you and I spoke about this earlier today, about we have to quit trying to think we're going to get it right all the time and quit trying to be perfect. We just got to forgive ourselves that, you know what, I never was going to be able to work from home. That wasn't the culture that you wanted. Yeah. But right now, that's where we have to be. Yeah. And so just accept that fact that you're doing your very best and that it's not going to be perfect. You're not going to get it right every time. Some of the things that we would coach you to in that regard is to just set aside as much time as you realistically can be working on your business. So maybe it's only 3 hours a day, not 8 like you're used to. Mm-hmm. But right now, can we dial it down and just focus on doing 3 hours a day or 3 hours in the morning? And when your children go to sleep at night, you put in another couple hours. Those are the approaches that we all need to figure out. So let us try to help you do that. Sometimes it's just an ear. It's just another person to go, yeah, you're doing it all right. Don't worry about it. We just feel a little lost. And I think that's very, very normal for everyone. And the mental health component, I really think people underestimate, as you and I spoke earlier about how many critical decisions are being made by the small business owner right now. Mm-hmm. They feel responsible for those employees that they've had to lay off. They feel responsible for the families and the vendors and all of the people that they've had to support their team. They feel responsible to them. Yeah. And so we have to acknowledge that. We have to be really okay with knowing and understanding for these people how challenging that is. And I don't want to forget the entrepreneur, because without our small business community, we will really suffer for a long, long time. So we want to help try to support their mental health as well. And we have some terrific resources that give you real 1, 2, 3 steps to get you moving in the right direction. So please reach out to us. It's a really, really great service. And we're here, no judgment. It's not a judgment call. We're here to help.
Okay, so after when we upload this, I'll put your information on that feed, and I'll also tag you, Vickie, and then people can
that'd be beautiful.
That way. And then I think our next discussion, should we jump right into the financial ends and how you guys can help with that? Is that probably the next?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So currently we have a lot of clients on our portfolio now. Some of them I hope will be watching your video. We have lots of clients in your region. So we first wanted to reach out to our clients and make sure that we offered them some support services and gave them a couple of options to look at to just minimize their thinking about how am I going to make that loan payment on March 23rd, or, all of those things. So we reached out to all of our clients. We gave them a couple of options to defer their payments or to take a smaller, lower interest rate and postpone it for 6 months. So right now, we have that option available, either or, for our clients. We've got everyone's solidified in that regard, but we still know that new money may be needed in this. And a lot of folks have said to me, I don't think anyone's going to want any new money. Well, frankly, I'm not a believer that we're not going to get through this. I think we are. So I think if we can help with some small loans to get people through this and get them into this at an interest rate they can afford, they'll be okay. We're going to not do this to set them up for failure. We're going to adjudicate and evaluate it with them and try to figure that out. But the loans we're offering right now to new clients are right up to $150,000.
Oh.
But we also have a local microloan in Provost, and the loan is up to $25,000. And this may fit for some of your smaller business clients that are just needing a smaller amount, and it's up to 25. So if you think you only need 7,500 or 5,000, hey, that's what we're going to look at for you. That loan you can take out is up to 10 years if you wanted to. But the truth is most people wouldn't want to do that. But it's at 3.3% for the first 6 months. And then after that, we'll be adding 3.5% on Royal Bank Prime at the time. Okay. So Prime, I'm guessing, will be somewhere in the neighborhood of 2%, maybe. It may even be lower than that. So you would be looking at 5.5% for the remaining term of that loan, which is a fairly okay interest rate.
Yes.
We'll be flexible on the payment terms in terms of that amortization schedule. We can forgive your payments for the first 3 months, and they'll only be interest only at 3.3% anyway. So on a $25,000 loan, that is not very much interest. You're probably looking at about $50 a month. Right. To carry that loan for 6 months. So then after that, we'll review it. If people need more time, we're going to figure that out. This is awesome. Flexibility as best we can be with each and every individual client that we have. And going forward, we need these people to be successful and get moving back in their businesses, hire back their people. We need all those things. So whatever it takes, our organization is very committed to make that happen. The beautiful part about the loans under $25,000 is that they're quick turnarounds. They're not intended to be long, lengthy procedures. So we're going to expedite that as quickly as we can so we can get money in the hands of that business person. Nice. So you had asked me this morning a question about, well, what if you get a grant, or what if you 6 weeks from now? The beautiful part about Community Futures is you only pay the interest to the date you have the money. There's no prepayment penalties. We're waiving all the application fees right now, so there's no cost for you basically to apply for this loan. And at that period of time, you could pay out our loan with the grant money you get. So there's no penalties for us at all. So we just know that we need to get money in your hands as quickly as possible. We cannot grant money at this point in time. We don't have any programs for that. But if these small local microloans would help any of your people out, we'd be more than happy to try to start the process and make that happen.
Yeah, because like with the government stuff, like it all sounds great for some people, but there's no time. Like even my girls are trying to fill out their ROEs. Well, that even takes forever. Like it's a long process. They're swamped. Like they're literally swamped. So that's awesome. And so sorry, Vickie, do you find people reaching out for you for loans just because they like maybe not need it now, but they might need it down the road because we don't know how long this is going for? Like, is that something?
Absolutely. It's sort of like the pre-approved mortgage that you don't know when you're going to get the opportunity to buy that home. But if people, it's again that work that you and I spoke about trying to get that pre-work done so that everybody's ready. Everybody's ready for that opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So we want to take people through the process, get their financial statements up to date, make sure they're ready for even the applications that are going to come forward for them to fill out for their small business opportunities with the Government of Canada. We want to have them as prepared as possible. So that's part of this whole strategy around the coaching piece, and to try to talk them into a plan that says, gee, I need to get this up to date, and I need to have my financial statements ready to go. And what are they going to ask me on the form? And do I have to have a little picture of who I am and what my business is about? And all of those elements, we need to have that ready for them. So that's also what we'd like to suggest, is that kind of work, to talk to us about what we think you're going to have to do. Now, I don't have the applications and I'm not preparing that work, but I do know that everything we do is going to have some pretty standard things attached to it, right? Your name, your business number, all of the things. We want to have that as ready as possible for these people. So it's bang, 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 fill out the form. And then I am going to guess, but likely most of this is going to be done online as much as possible. So some of our business community is not really geared for that. So we need to get them ready so that someone else could even feed the information into the system for them. So that's kind of the approach we need to take here, I think.
Yeah,
get them ready.
Our whole, everything's shifting. Like, that's another thing with these business owners. Some people have been in business for so long, and all of a sudden they're learning like Zoom platforms. Like, thank goodness, I'm really fortunate. I'm a big fan of QBO, QuickBooks Online. So we've been doing QuickBooks Online for 5 years now. Thank goodness, right? Like, we're very fortunate for lots of things. I love technology, but those people that are having to learn all this real fast, that's huge. That's huge. Do you prepare, or do you not prepare? Do you help people prepare? What do you call that? A business plan? Is that a service that you guys offer too?
Absolutely. That falls into that whole advice and support category. And we have a website, Sharon, that has terrific resources on it. And so if anyone wants to visit that website, it's meridianregion.ca. And there's a loan section that's online. There's also a section called tips and tools, and it's fabulous. There's links to places that you need to go to be supported, but there's also some tooling on there that helps you understand. Like, a lot of people, their first question is always, well, how much is that going to cost me for that loan, right? There's a little calculator on there. There's a lot of resources. But again, what I'm nervous about, I don't want to just send someone to a website, because right now they're bombarded with, oh, where do I look and what's coming down the pipe? What I'd love for them to do is call me and my staff, and we'll guide you to what would be tools that you would want to look at. Because I think that's part of this right now. We're on overload. There's just so much coming at us, and it's like staying off of Facebook for a few days so you can catch your breath and be okay with sort of the whole strategy and not do the COVID-19, all that stuff. You need to just sort of debrief yourself away from that and let us try to guide you to what specifically would be of use to you. Now, please go snoop on the site, but we can help you a lot better from a more personalized situation, I think. And hey, it's there, and there's some great, terrific resources. There's some mental health resources on there, and I would really encourage your people to, anyone, whether it's a business owner, a wife, a husband, a teacher, to look at some of our resources for mental health, because they're really valuable for everyone. And I think that's the most important piece here, is look to help each other. Let's help each other get through this.
Right. I really like your idea about them phoning you, because sometimes we don't know what we even need. Right? We don't know. That way you get to talk to them, you get to understand, get into their head a little bit, and then you can guide them. Okay, I think this might be for you. So that's perfect. That's great. And I know I love talking to you. I can talk to you all day long. You're fabulous. So, except that, when you talked about a dead horse that one time, I didn't think too kindly of that.
What I was alluding to, Sharon, is that when something's just done, my favorite saying is, when you're just done, when it's done, when the horse is dead, get off. And And of course, Sharon is the lover of horses, and I so apologize, and the owner of horses. But in all seriousness, even with COVID-19, if you're feeling like the horse is dead, there's still another opportunity, right?
Yes.
And so that's what I want to encourage people with is what can we do now that might open a door for you? There, you know, just sometimes 2 people or 5 people. I'm thinking of starting a group in this whole crisis where we can just have a goofy, let's share goofy ideas day, you know, and we all get together through this virtual means and just share some fun things that I thought of something really wacky we could do. Well, all of a sudden it might be something, and it might be an idea. So I think that through all this, we need some laughter and some fun. And I am very serious when it comes to business, but I still think we just need to look after our mental health, and all things else will fall into place, you know?
Yeah, and I'm a strong believer, and I think everybody that knows me knows this, but about just the power of positivity. Just be grateful for what you have around you, right? I think that it really helps your head. It helps you appreciate it. Just, I don't know. I think there's a lot to that for sure. So Vickie, there's a few things I wanted to finish up on. Is there anything else you want to talk about your business before I ask you another question?
No, I just want to tell your folks that there is no bad question. They're all good questions. So like I said, we're here to be supportive. We have tons of resources, tons. We may not be the answer you need, but we can certainly get you to someone that can possibly help you through something that you're looking for. So there is no bad question. We want to support you. That's the third element of what we do. So all of our support services are there to share, and we're there to help you. So we just wanted to reach out and celebrate with Positively Provost on how wonderful and powerful we think that you are to your community. And we know you're going to be successful in keeping as many of those businesses prosperous and reaching out to help them in any way that we can. That's our new campaign. We're doing a lot of marketing on shop local, support your small business, do anything you possibly can, because it will be a very sad day in all of our communities if we do not have each other and those businesses to support. So when you consider the online shopping from afar, consider looking first to see if that source and resource is right in your home community, because they need you now more than ever. And I just want to really encourage people of that.
Yeah, like even like sometimes they don't have them in the store, but they can get them just as fast as you can get them from Amazon, right? Just give them a chance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, one thing I fell in love with you about, because you and I shared that same love for, you can learn from a flock of geese. Can you go over that a little bit for everybody? Because I'm really, I think that was cool, your little ending story for our meeting.
I am a big believer that teams and working together is our only way of survival at any time. And so there's a story of the goose, and I really should probably read it because it might lose its context with me. Are you okay if I upload it here and read it?
Sure. Yeah, I love it.
One of my favorite, the story of the goose. And it's a wonderful story about how being part of a group just brings that strength and capacity and makes us all just stronger people.
Yeah.
I hope I can find it quickly here so that we're not.
I had a lady, she phoned me one time. Well, I've had a few people reach out to me, and I mean, my staff is like bar none the best. And she asked me like, how do you get your staff that you have? And it's like boiled down to just follow what a goose does. That's what it boils down to. Like listen to.
It really is that. There's no doubt about it. And oh, I got it.
Good.
I never thought Word was this slow when you're waiting for it. So the story is, in the fall when you see geese heading south for the winter, flying in their V formation, you might be interested in knowing what science has discovered about why they fly the way they do. As each bird flaps its wings, it creates an uplift for the bird immediately following. By flying in a V formation, the whole flock adds at least 71% greater flying range than the bird than if the bird flew on its own. Point of interest. In relation to people and teamwork, those who are part of a team and share a common direction get where they are going more quickly and easily because they are traveling on the thrust of one another. That's how our small businesses work together. Whenever a goose falls out of formation, it suddenly feels the drag and resistance of trying to go it alone and quickly gets back into the formation to take advantage of the power of the flock. Point of interest. If we have as much sense as a goose, we will share information with those who are headed in the same direction as we are going. When the lead goose gets tired, and I'm sure there's a lot of lead geese out there right now that are really tired in our business community, it drops back in the wing and another goose takes over. Here too, it pays to share leadership and take turns as the work gets harder. The geese honk from behind to encourage those up front to keep their speed. Words of support and inspiration help those on the front line to keep pace in spite of the day-to-day pressures and fatigue. Finally, when a goose gets sick and is wounded by a gunshot and falls out, 2 geese fall out of formation and follow the injured one down to help and protect it. They stay until it is either able to fly or until they perceive that the bird is dead. They will join another formation to catch up with their group. If we have the sense of a goose, we will stand by one another when things get tough. I want you to remember that it's a challenge and a reward and a privilege to be part of a team. And I think we just want here at Meridian Community Futures to know that we want to be part of your team. We want to do whatever we can to help you get through this very difficult time. We're here to help. We're really easy to talk to. My team is like yours, Sharon. I'm gifted with some beautiful people that surround us, and we're just really prepared to pick up that phone, and even if it's just an ear, we're really prepared to help out with that.
Well, I sincerely appreciate that, Vickie, because I think we need help. I think there's a lot of us that need help, and for you to be there and have that same team ethic that I know is powerful is going to help somebody, Vickie. So I think that's fabulous. I will put your contact information in this email or in this post. I'll also put the website address on there in case they want to go play around with some of those links you shared about. And do you want me to put your phone number or just your email address?
I'd love to have my phone number in there, Sharon.
Okay,
So
I could put
I'll
your phone number.
you, and absolutely, they're more than welcome. And I just want to tell you that there's a couple of quick things, things that we've talked about that you will find helpful. There's a checklist of things, and I'm not going to call it busy work, but that kind of stuff that will help you sort of refocus yourself and just get you started. And that sometimes just feels good. It just feels good to get going. And so that they're there, pick up the phone, chat with me, or one of my other team members here, and we'll definitely try to get you going where you need to go, and we'll get through this together.
I really appreciate it, Vickie. Okay, I'm gonna sign off now. So thank you everybody for joining Vickie and myself today. And yeah, that's perfect. I really appreciate you, Vickie. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.